Tell me about this flag you guys are holding. How long have you been here holding it, and where did the flag come from?
We've been here since about 11 o'clock, and we brought this flag here from the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia. It was given to one of our group members, the Blue Ridge Patriots of West Virginia. He could not attend today. He lost his leg in Vietnam. He's a Purple Heart recipient, but he was given this flag just after 9/11, and since he couldn't come, we decided to carry the flag in his honor today. And as a representation of all of us standing for our veterans.
That's excellent. You guys are going to hold this for quite a while. How many people are holding it right now?
Oh, I don't know, probably about 40 or so. We're rotating. We're asking people in the crowd to come up and relieve us.
Are you having a problem finding volunteers for that?
Not too much, so.
Not in this crowd, huh?
Not at all.
That's excellent. Really good.
Okay, I'll put your card back there. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys for what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Pretty impressive, huh?
Pretty impressive. Alan, I'm struck by, a couple of things that come out of that clip. First, that was a raging madhouse of angry, radical folks there. Their veins popping.
Just a bunch of angry white guys.
Apparently. On that last one, all you needed was a beach ball. You got a tarp that big with a flag that big. That's athleticism in place.
You know, those people holding that flag were standing there for about 4.5 hours, and they kept trading out, but they never let that flag touch the ground. You know, that's the kind of patriotism and citizenship we're talking about. You know, if we're going to get this nation back to where we need to be, we all have to come together like that. And it's funny to crack on it, but the reality is we can all do something. And that's why I brought Joel on tonight. Joel, in your role with Americans for Prosperity, you actually take groups like this and make sure that these events aren't just a hoopla session, that we actually come out of it, we know what to do. Where do you see this movement going from here?
Sure. Well, thank you, Alan. And honestly, I guess I learned for the first time when I was watching Bill O'Reilly a few weeks ago that my organization, Americans for Prosperity, is training the activists how to be dissenters and how to be rabble rousers at town hall meetings. And I learned that watching O'Reilly, and he retracted the statement. But no, Alan, really, this is a question that the Tea Party movement as a whole, all of us that have been involved in these, are asking ourselves right now, what is the next step? It's one thing to go to a rally, it's one thing to pump my fist in the air and get excited about all of this and be inspired for many Americans for the first time in their lives about the system, the political system, and what it means to be a citizen. But it's another thing to leave it there, to leave the energy on the National Mall and to leave it at the rally itself. I'm involved with Americans for Prosperity organization and Virginia Galloway here in the state of Georgia, designing and training now grassroots activists through a thing called the Next Step Training, which really is designed as the answer to the Tea Party movement, to the Tea Party question of what is the next step.
Well, there were a lot of people there, and we see this in all the videos that we did, Joel, that there are a lot of people that have never been involved in anything like this before. You know, they've never protested. They've never gone to these town hall meetings before. They've never even written their congressman. Heck, most of them don't even know who their congressmen or senators are until they get to that tipping point and they've had enough. They can't take it anymore. And then they go online and they start Googling and Yahooing and finding those people. And then they don't know how to communicate with them. They don't know, should I write? Should I phone? Should I email? So what are some things that everyday citizens can do?
Sure. Well, the Next Step Training, we go over a variety of different things in the training, and one of the things is we go back to the fundamentals of what makes America tick. What is the philosophy of the American form of government as given us by our Declaration of Independence? What are the mechanics? How do you implement the American form of government? The Constitution gives us that. Then we go into how do you interact with your elected representatives effectively and respectfully, I might add, to really get things accomplished, because at the end of the day, they're people too.
Right.
And you get a lot further when you treat them as such. So we speak about that. We speak about how do you engage your neighbors on these types of things, on the issues of the day. And we speak about how do I engage the media, quite frankly. And that's fascinating to me because we have some tools at our disposal right now. I joked about it early in the program, but we're on internet television now, and you can literally, people are beginning to wake up to the fact that citizen journalism is the name of the game now. If you've watched the networks in the last few weeks, you've realized that they wouldn't have had content, what we call B-roll in the business, without HD flip cams running all over the nation, throwing this stuff on YouTube. They are going to the internet for their content now, and we're talking about how to do that, how to have a good conversation with the media, and then we wrap up with how do you, we commission, more or less, everyone who is in the grassroots training, saying, now you have this information, share it with friends of yours around you, share it with your Kiwanis Club, your church, your synagogue, whatnot, plan a tea party, and here's how to do that, plan a civic literacy event, plan a Constitution Day festival. The main point is get engaged in upholding liberty.
Now, that the average, soccer mom, to use a Clintonism, and I don't use Clintonisms very much.
Any more than you have to, right?
Because I feel dirty afterwards.
They're time-tested. Yeah,
that's right. They are time-tested. That's exactly right. Wash yourself often.
3 minutes.
But, the average stay-at-home mom or guy just coming home from the factory, they feel like if they're conservative, they've been alienated, they've been mocked, they've been ridiculed. Don't let the other side of this argument beat you down. There are millions of us. 2.1 million people went to Washington, D.C. That's the largest gathering ever on that mall, as we were talking about before. But for everyone that was there, one of the folks that we interviewed said, for every one of us that's here, there's 6 or 7 of us back home that wanted to be here that just weren't able. So if you haven't gone to the website, and the website is americansforprosperity.org, correct?
Correct.
Go to the website and find out more about a next step training in your area. And if you can make it, you guys have a summit coming up this week.
We have a summit coming up. It's the Defending the American Dream Summit. This
Awesome.
is on October 2nd and 3rd. You want to talk about grassroots training. We're going to have Laura Ingraham. We have Newt Gingrich coming. We have Stephen Moore, not the other Moore, but Stephen Moore. The
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal guy. We have so many different folks that are coming to be a part of this event, and they are coming as to one of the largest grassroots activism training events in the nation in Washington, D.C., October 2nd and 3rd, and you can obviously find information on the website about that. But I wanted to mention another thing about the Next Steps training, Alan, if I may, because, and I said this just recently in a Next Step training night where I was saying that I was in Washington a few weeks ago, and I had a chance to look out on the crowd, and the question that we're hearing now is, what is the next step? There are some folks in Congress right now that were looking out that window, their windows on Capitol Hill, at that crowd and saying, let them have their rally. Let them have their riot. Let them pump their fists in the air and get upset, because at the end of the day, if they leave it on the national lawn, on the National Mall, then we win. Because at the end of the day, they can get it out of their system. They can get mad all they want. But if they never engage the system, we still have control of it. And that's really what we're talking about, is showing individuals how to engage the system, because they're counting. There are folks who have spent the better part of a century gaining control of the system, and they're counting on you not to engage it. It's your civic duty, but not to learn it and engage it to uphold good and uphold liberty. And what we're telling people is the next step is not to act upon the anger and the fear that you're feeling. The emotions you're feeling right now are healthy.
They're justified.
They're justified. But if you leave them at that and you let them paralyze you, then you've gotten no further than you need to get. I mean, I look out and I think, we are a nation, we used to be a nation of storytellers. And what do I mean by that? There was a time in our nation when we valued story. And I think we've become a nation of headline chasers. We're chasing rabbit trails. We're chasing the next headline, and we are feeling as if we do not have a voice, as if we're just being overwhelmed by the litany of headlines coming against us. We're being buried alive by them, quite frankly. And what I try to tell folks is that it's not about rabbit chasing. If we could get back, and here's where I know when we have arrived where we need to be, when I can look out across the country and I can see a society that's built around storytelling again, that connects the dots, that goes deep, that doesn't just stop at chasing a headline or chasing a rabbit trail.